How's it going, guys? We're here talking some Penn State football. Penn State beat Illinois by the score of 56-21 on Saturday. Um, One of the most interesting first quarters of Penn State football I've ever seen in my life. Back and forth, back and forth. The first play, John Dotson took it to the house, and I thought at that point, we're like, okay, we're gonna blow them out, great. And then we get the interception on defense. And I'm still thinking, all right, we're going to blow them out. This is going to be an easy game. And then Clifford fumbles 7-7 once they score the touchdown. And then we get the kickoff return. I was like, okay, we're good now. We're good now. Lamont Wade, by the way, he's underrated as a kickoff returner. I don't know if I mentioned it in other previous videos, but even before this game, he showed signs of being a really good returner because I think he just is able to find a way to get yardage. I don't know if he just has a high motor or something. He's not exactly like the most elusive guy in the world, but he's somebody who can certainly return kicks. And well, anyways, and then they make it 14-14, and then we're down 21-14, and we get a score to make it 21-21, and then finally we start dominating the game and score 35 more points. It ended up being 42 unanswered points. Um, so it's one of those games that you're satisfied with the result. You kind of wish that they didn't look so ugly in the first quarter, particularly the defense. The defense, I don't know what happened in the first quarter, but I don't know if they just like didn't care at first, and then they're like, oh wait, we got to pick it up now or something. I don't know because they just kind of had lazy tackling and on that one touchdown. Two guys just kind of put their arms around him, but didn't even really try and wrap him up and take him down. It was kind of like a half-hearted uh, tackle attempt. Like they didn't even like want to tackle him. But well, anyways, so yeah, it's one of those games that you're satisfied with the result. Kind of weird game. The latest home game for Penn State and their history, and this game really didn't mean anything in terms of championship aspirations. But for pride reasons, it's good. We're 4-5, and on paper that doesn't even look that bad now, considering we played a full Big Ten schedule. Um, Obviously, it's not what you wanted at the beginning of the year, but it's better than what we thought it was going to be after it was 0-5. And there's some momentum heading into next year now. The team has now decided not to go to a bowl game, which is understandable. I kind of would have liked to see them win five after losing five. I think that would have been a nice ending to the season. But I completely understand why they wouldn't want to do that because they've been away from their families for a while now. I've been in the whole testing process grind of getting tested every single day and being quarantined and masked, and I think they just want to get away from that. And I'm proud of them that they didn't give up earlier in the season. It would have been so easy for them after 0-5 just to kind of loosen up on these protocols and kind of like what Michigan did. Michigan, once they started out bad, once they had nothing to play for, I don't I don't think that they really cared as much, and they probably didn't follow the COVID protocols as much. And Penn State, they stuck with it. They're one of the only two teams out of 14 in the Big Ten to play a full 9-game slate. Them along with Rutgers, and I think that's pretty impressive in this crazy year to be able to not be affected by COVID in terms of uh, games being canceled or postponed or anything. But overall, again, it's as terms of on the field though, which is the most important part. When you look at the football team, it's not good enough. 4-5 is unacceptable. Obviously, we feel better about it because we started 0-5, but still, if you would have said before the season we would have gone 4-5, we would have been appalled. And that's just, it's not something we should accept as Penn State fans. I think James Franklin knows that. Hopefully, next year, everything is relatively back to normal. I know that COVID, it's not all of a sudden one day going to be over. It's going to be more of like a dwindling thing where it's going to get better and better day by day. Hopefully, this vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine, the Moderna vaccine, are able to do a good job, and we're able to get a lot of the population vaccinated, and hopefully they're very effective, like the data says it is, and we're able to get back to a state of uh, non-COVID normalcy. Um, where we don't have to worry about masks and social distancing, and we're able to have a lot more normal life and hopefully we can see a packed Beaver Stadium next year uh, against Ball State on September, I think 11th it is. And then hopefully there's, obviously it'd probably be work against us in terms of um, winning the game, but I hope to see a full crowd at Wisconsin and Madison when they take us on. So I think that overall this season was obviously the weirdest season that I think just about anybody's ever seen in college football history. Um, I guess the only one that can really rival it that I can think of is the 1918 season where the Spanish flu pandemic happened, and I don't think you know maybe one or two people on this earth that really care about college football were alive then. Maybe a little more than that, but even if they were alive, they're babies. So nobody really remembers that. So this is definitely going to be a year to remember in the sense that we'll tell people, our kids growing up or whatever that don't really remember this and say, hey, you know, whatever it is that you see right now in college football, enjoy it. You see these big crowds, you see all these games not having to be worried about canceled or anything. You see College Game Day have thousands of fans in the background creating good atmosphere. Enjoy it because it's not something you should just take for granted because we went through this in 2020. Um, I'm just happy we had a college football season though. I think that overall the season was more enjoyable than I think what a lot of people thought it would be. Most people, I would say, thought the season was either going to be canceled or it would be um, it would start and then it would be canceled in the middle of the season. And it looks like, barring unforeseen circumstances, we're going to have a college football playoff and a national champion. Um, and, I think that this is good for the game that we were able to pull off a season. It's good for the Big Ten that they were able to play in the fall and not have to worry about trying to play in the spring, which would have been really weird and would have created a lot of scheduling conflicts heading into next season. And I'm just happy that this is kind of over. Hopefully, this is the last college football game I ever have to see without fans, or at least Penn State football game. I always want to see um, a large amount of fans in Beaver Stadium. All right, well, thank you guys. We'll be making videos this off season talking about recruiting, uh, talking about next year. Um, obviously, it's going to be a long way to go until September 11th, and probably lots going to happen in the world between now and then when it comes to COVID. It should be interesting. All right, well, thank you guys. We are Penn State.